Nice to be here. This is the second in my Facebook Live broadcast this week. I'm doing one every day until Friday. Today's broadcast is all about how to maintain your own inner harmony and hope in a world that's kind of gone crazy. And, you know, your question to me was, how can I help other people? How can I help the world be stronger and maintain it inside myself when what looks like is going on outside is pretty mad, it's pretty crazy, and on the whole, the world outside is looking pretty weird right now. So if that's you, tune in for today. What I'm going to be doing is talking about how to maintain that within yourself, what it is you need to do. So welcome. Hi Anne, hi Tanya, nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. So this is a question that's been posed to me today, and it's an interesting one because I asked my guides what are the things that we need to do in order to be able to maintain this energy. What can we do? Hi Jules. And so it's pretty interesting, the things I came back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you those things that my guides have told me are what we need to do in order to be able to help ourselves and help the world. Hey Sarah. So I guess the point for today is to really understand, can you make a difference? To answer that question, can one person, you by yourself, can you make a difference in who you're being in the world? That can, you know, what can one person do? You know, it sort of feels like, I don't feel like I can really do anything by myself. You know, I see the stuff that's happening with refugees, I see what's happening in the US, I see, you know, what's happening in places where they're dropping gas bombs, and, you know, Syria, it just seems like the world is pretty mad, it's pretty out of control right now, and it's a little bit scary. You know, stuff that's happening in North Korea, that's a bit scary, and, you know, it sort of feels like, what can one person do? How can I make any difference, or can I really make any difference? And that's what I'm going to be answering today. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to give you some strategies for what you can do in order to help you be stronger, so that you don't get caught up in the fear that is going around. Because, you know, the first thing to say to you is that we are all part of the one consciousness. We are all part of one energy. So what the majority of people are doing, or when world events affect a lot of people, it affects us because we are interconnected. You cannot separate us from everybody else. So sometimes you can feel there's a lot of fear within you and wonder whether it's actually yours. If you watch a lot of news, you can find that you get caught up in the stories and you can start to feel quite fearful. I know, because it happens to me, and I'm sure that you're the same. We're all on social media, and we know immediately when stuff is happening, and it's scary. The question is, well, what can I do? So the first thing I asked my guides was, well, what is it that you want people, the women in my group who are already spirited, already at a higher consciousness level, what do you want them to know? And what they told me was that when you look at light and darkness in the world, and sometimes we call that good and evil, and they were showing me it's not good and evil. They're just terms that we put on them because we're valuing certain things according to what we think is good or what we think is bad. And they said it's really not. It's really neutral. And they said that we want you to tell the women in your group that the darkness are thought forms. They are not entities. They are not anything else other than what we have already created, which is an interesting thought. So that there are some people, you know, we all have thoughts that are times based in anger that are lower vibration. And so what people are thinking, what people are struggling with when there are difficult world events, those thoughts that we have, we contribute to that darkness. So all of us contribute in some way to that. But we also contribute to the light. And that is what they want us to know, is that it's not that you need to be fearful of certain people or of entities or of any other thing like that. What you need to know is that they're things that we have created already. and the people will continue to create. It's an energy pattern. It's a consciousness level. And so our job is to keep our consciousness at a higher level. And what does that mean? Well, if you've ever read anything about the levels of consciousness, hi Bernie. If you've ever read anything about that, which is from a guy called David Hawkins, who's now crossed over, but he wrote many books. On the main one that most people know is called Power versus Force. And what he did was he measured the level of consciousness of the world as a whole, and of the earth, and of anything that you could imagine, using kinesiology. Whether or not you believe in that, it doesn't really matter. What he did was measure the levels of consciousness so that we could understand certain emotions are at a different level of consciousness. So the lower emotions, which we would call more negative or dark, are things like, I'll read them to you. And these fall into the force category, which is grief, fear, desire, anger, pride. That's just some of them. The ones that fall into power, in other words, you could almost think of it as, being powerful, are courage, neutrality, willingness, and this is moving up. Willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, and peace. So peace is the highest state. And what he did was he measured what is the influence of one person at each level. And this is what you need to know when it comes to answering the question around, can I make a difference? One person at the level of love can counterbalance the negativity of 750,000 other people at lower levels. One person. And not only that, imagine if all of us are operating at a level, and he actually gave them numbers. So the level of 500 is the level of love. So one person at the level of love counterbalances the negativity of 750,000 people at the lower levels of consciousness. I mean, that's pretty staggering, right? It's a staggering figure. If you want to ask yourself, can I make a difference? There's only one answer to that question, right? That's absolutely. But what if there's a whole lot of us operating at above 500? Not just you, but a whole bunch of all of us. And what would that mean, and what would we have to do to keep operating at that level? So the answer is absolutely you can make a difference. And what does that mean? It means that when you're operating at a consciousness or a frequency that's above 500, you are at a higher light, a brighter light level, or you're at a higher frequency. And it doesn't mean it's better or worse, it just is a faster, higher frequency. And that means that people around you, the more you can maintain that, and I'll talk about how shortly, the more you can maintain that, the more your energy field has an impact. Whoever you come into contact with, without you actually even doing anything, you help those people's consciousness raise up. You provide an opportunity for them to choose different behaviour. You provide a space, a frequency for them to choose to feel better. Remember, we don't control other people. What we do is we're providing an energy frequency or an opportunity for someone to choose something higher, to choose a different thought that will lift them higher, to choose a different action. And if you put them all together, what does that do for the world, right? So it's not that, I'm directly influencing anything in the US, but together what we're doing is providing a frequency, I want to say cloud, I can't think of a better word, but like if we're all together, there's a whole lot of us providing an opportunity for other people to be healed, to have new opportunities for themselves. But not only that, of course, you're doing it for yourself, right? So number one, do it for yourself, because it's actually who you're really meant to be here, right? You're meant to be a loving being operating at the level of peace. That's the highest we can get. Doing that, you can have an impact on people you've never met and will never meet, and you will make a difference. So that being said, and sort of that being true, how does that sit with you? Have you heard of that before? Tell me, put in the chat. Have you heard of that? Does it make a difference for you? Does that kind of inspire you to want to actually maintain the level of love? I want to know, like, is that where you're at? Is that, tell me, is that something you're interested in? Is that important to you? Just put in the chat box and tell me if you're here. Bryony, Julia. Hi, Julia. So I'm just checking out you guys. Yeah, just if that's something that interests, if it's important to you, I'd like to know. I mean, it's something that I kind of feel, you know, it encourages me to feel that there's something I can do that does make a difference, not only for myself, but for other people. I mean, I feel like it makes my life in some ways more worthwhile. What about you? Hi, Julia. Yeah, so just put in the chat and let me know. Is that something that is important to you? So, okay, I'm just looking at what else they wanted me to know. Jules says, of course, would love to make a difference. Yeah, me too. Bryony says, yes, I have. I've learned this in a powerful personal development course. Yeah, okay, great. So you already know this, you know, and even I sometimes forget the level of impact I could have. I forget that it's 750,000. That's cool, right? I mean, how amazing is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. Tanya's a yes, thank you. Hi Dee, how are you? What I want to do now is I'm going to measure the level of consciousness in our group as a whole. So those of you who are with me, but also the level of consciousness of On Her Heart's Calling group, the women within that as a whole, because we're all connected, so I can connect to everybody and measure it, and that's the intention that I'm going to have. I'm just reading what Bryony said, made me realise I need to use love to combat hate or conflict with those who come. Yes, beautiful. Absolutely, it is about using love. You know, whenever there's conflict, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's absolutely spot on. Hi, Adi. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to measure level of consciousness, and I do that with kinesiology. That's, you know, that's my background. I don't really need to use it. I can do it without it, but I just want to show you how I do it. And Bryony's saying, oh, sometimes we need to work through grief to come back into the light. Totally agree. And grief is one of the lower level force. You know, there's a line. The line is between courage and pride. So it goes from pride, and there's a line, and that's where it switches to courage. And grief is a little bit below that. So absolutely, the higher frequency emotions are the ones that lift you up above the line into power, where you're actually making a difference outwards instead of, you know, collapsing inwards. All right, so I'm just going to measure the level of our group. So I'm just going to connect with everybody within our group, and those of you who I know who are here right now. Okay, that completes the circle. So I'm just going to measure the level of consciousness. I did it yesterday, and I'm not going to look at the number. I'm just going to do it again today. So it's between 4 and 5. It's between 4 and 500. It's over 500. It's between 500 and 510. It's between 500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 508. So currently, our group as a whole measures at the consciousness level of 508. Beautiful. Can I post the vibration levels? Yes. I'll see if I can find one of the charts for you. So 500 is love. So we calibrate the level of 508. And what they were showing me yesterday is what level do we need to calibrate in this group at to make a bigger difference? How would we? Because 500 is already huge. Now David Hawkins says that if you only move one, like from 508 to 509 in your life, you're lucky. All right. What I have discovered in my most recent work is that perhaps David's now gone, our energy is changing, that actually it can jump very quickly. I don't know if it stays there, but depending on what you do, it can jump much more quickly now. and that's what he started to find that the consciousness level was rising. So what we want to do is be able to raise the consciousness level not only of ourselves but of the whole planet, because it happens just as a result of being us. Okay, so the question that I had last night was, what level of consciousness do we need to be as a group, in this group, to make a bigger difference? So from 508, where do we need to be? So I'm just going to ask my guides that. I already hear the answer, but I'm going to check. 508 to more than 510. 10, 11, 12, 12. 512. So we only need to raise our consciousness by 4 points in this session here today. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but it could be just by coming together is enough. So I'm going to measure it again at the end of this session. I haven't scripted this, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I know what they want me to share with you, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do at the end. I think there's something they want me to do just to demonstrate the change. Okay. So, yeah, the number one thing I've got written down that they wanted me to know is that, there is nothing outside of ourselves. Light and darkness is within and outside of ourselves at the same time. It's not separate. So what we perceive as what we might call evil, what we might call dark, what we might label in some way, is nothing other than what is also within us. And there is no blame attached to that. It's just an observation. It just is what it is. And they said that these are our thoughts, they're thoughts of others, and they're powerful, but they're not separate from us. All right, so what we want to do is be able to switch more into the light. If what we want to do is be able to support the world, to have the opportunity for people to actually make peace. Those who are in positions of power, who can actually do something that would make a difference to support the survival of us all, and a place that is much more peaceful. So last night I measured that it was 502 in this group. So some of you have been doing some stuff that's already raised your level of consciousness today. So me, you, whoever. But it's already gone up. Okay. So, any questions at the moment? How's that sounding to you? Is that interesting? Would you like to know, there are 8 things that my guides gave me to give you to say what it is, and these are 8 specific things that you in your life can do that will raise your level of vibration. It will raise you to love, which is the harmony and hope, all of that, and keep you there. Right, and keep you there. That's really, how can you maintain it? You need to maintain it by the daily things that you do, the daily choices that you make. And here are the things they gave me. So I'd like your feedback on what you think about these. Number 1 is music. So they didn't specify any particular music. They said music that makes you happy. So if you listen to music that makes you happy and lifts your vibration, yeah, please share. Thanks, Bridie. Music is number 1. All right, so write that down. Music, whatever makes you happy every day. If you listen to music, if that's one of the things that really lifts you, it helps to keep your vibration high. The second one is food. No specific foods other than they were saying it needs to be live and fresh. That's all. That's the only thing. No other qualification. Just live and fresh food. Whatever you like, whatever you love to eat, live and fresh is the number 2 thing. Number 3 is what they showed me was a picture of a star. I said, what are you showing me? And they said, they're showing you a picture of a star, and they said, perspective. Is that you need to ask yourself a question. It's a bit like you need to go out of yourself when you're dealing with something that's difficult. And you need to lift yourself out of that, lift your vibration, go out of yourself and get the perspective from a star. Imagine you're a star and look back on the world and look back on yourself and look back on how small you are, how little that problem is as a whole. And they were saying, get perspective. That's one way to shift yourself. It's kind of like going out there and asking yourself, could things be worse? Or when I look at it from a really long distance away, is this actually really important? and it will help you let go of things that are not so important. So that's number 3. How are they going? Are you enjoying those? All right. Number 4. Don't watch the news. I don't anymore. Honestly, when I watch the news, after probably about 4 or 5 minutes, I feel my vibration get lower. I feel it. I don't know about you. How do you feel when you watch the news? Do you still watch the news? Have you switched off like I have? I'm curious about that. Have you actually switched off, or are you still watching the news? I mean, so the reason why is that they're saying low vibration doesn't help. So if you want to feel better yourself and help the world, news lowers your vibration. So, I mean, you can't escape it. I find I still see stuff on Facebook that really distresses me at times. Facebook has an algorithm that they like to keep everything happy, all right? And it's not that we are trying to deny that we need to know about news. Yeah, good to see. Jules, you haven't watched it. Julia, you don't watch TV news. Read what you're attracted to. Yeah, fantastic. Me too. So, you know, I made that decision myself too. And, yeah, forget what I was saying, right? But, yeah, it's not that we're trying to deny that knowing what is going on is important. But it leads me to number 5. The number 5 thing that they're saying that they want us to do is focus on what you can control. So that's why they're saying not to watch the news, all right? When we watch the news, we're watching stuff we don't feel we're in control of. It puts us back in a place of fear. It puts us back in a place of, I can't do anything about this. What can I do to help? And it lowers your vibration. So that's the reason not to watch it. There is a really important reason, because it isn't what you can control. And what they're saying is that always focus on what you can control. That places of hopelessness or powerlessness or despair will not help the rest of the planet. So it seems like maybe I should know what's going on, but what the guides, my guides are saying is that is really not helpful at all. So think about that. Switch the news off. I mean, maybe even if you haven't already switched off, I find a lot of guys still want to watch the news. My husband doesn't, but I find a lot of guys, some women tell me their husband watch news after news after news after news after news. And if you're still in that habit yourself, it might be a good one to get out of. Just for your own vibrational health and what you attract. Okay, number 6 out of 8, and how to support your energy to stay in a higher vibration, higher consciousness place. All right, is being grounded. And I'm just looking at what Bryony's saying. A lot of she's saying what a lot of what I'm sharing is implementing his lifestyle. That's fantastic. Music and food, if you changing your foods to be high vibration, selling to music, don't watch the news. Fantastic. I love it. It's all what you're doing. It's brilliant. So you know you're on the right track. If these things are resonating with you, you know that you're on the right track as a spirit, as a high, a woman interested in connecting with being at a higher level of consciousness. These are the things, you're doing it right, according to my guides anyway. Okay, so number 6 is being grounded. Why? Okay, so being grounded is good just because it helps you be healthier, and it's important for our bodies as a whole. What they're saying, what my guides were saying, is that it actually supports the earth. I haven't really heard that before, but that's what they told me, is for us to be grounded actually supports the earth. And what it does is create a connectedness with the earth and therefore with others, and it creates one energy. So I didn't ever have that perspective before. That's what they were showing me yesterday when I was getting this information, is we do it because it helps us feel better, and it helps our system works better, our whole energy system works better as a result. But they were saying actually it's also because you become one with the earth, therefore with others, and one energy as a whole. So that makes a difference. Number 7 is keep doing the work that you've been doing to keep yourself clear. So you need to keep doing the work that is personal to you, that you know, to clear experiences, old feelings, stuff that's still there. If you've got issues around trust, have a look at that from yesterday, or in the other broadcast I just did. Yeah, connection, Bryony. It's absolutely about connection. So what they want to say to you is letting go of heavy energy is really important. And heavy energies are the lower energies. You know what I said before, feeling guilt, feeling fear, anger, pride, desire, they're all the lower consciousness emotions. And they were saying, keep doing this because this is to do with your spiritual evolvement. Yeah. And so, I'm just reading what they wrote to me yesterday. So doing your own work to be clear. Connect to your higher consciousness, to God, to your guides, whichever is the way that you do that and who is most important to you. Continue to do that on a regular basis. It is what will keep your consciousness at a higher level. All right. And there is one more. And this is a don't. Let me just read this. Okay, so let me read you what I wrote, which is what they said to me. Do not be fearful, all right, which is a don't, which means that, let me qualify with what I'm saying. There have always been and will always be those who produce thoughts of power to control and hurt others and get control according to their beliefs. This has not changed. It is just more publicised. And this is one of the things they were saying to me is there sometimes can be a sense that the world we are living in is more scary, or it's worse right now, or this is the worst it's ever been, or those kind of thoughts. What they're saying is the world has not changed. There have always been people in positions of power who have thoughts around control, wanting to be in control, wanting to and hurt other people in order to get it. And it's no different than it's been before. It's just what they're saying is that we need to be aware. We just are more aware of it. It's more publicised. We get that information more quickly than we used to. And what they want us to know is fear is what supports them. Fear is what supports those people. If we don't want those people to continue to be in power, we must not go into a place of fear. We must stay in a place of love. Anger supports them. They were saying love releases and lifts. I mean, you know that. But these are the kind of the 8 things. These are the 8 processes. So whatever you do that raises your level of consciousness and brings you back to a higher place, in all of the things we've talked about, is what they're recommending. Okay. There's a couple of other small things. How's this? Yeah, go love. That's what I reckon, Bryony. I know. It seems so simple when we say it that way. It seems so simple. The answers seem so simple. And in my experience, guides do that. Thanks for the hearts. That's cool. In my experience, our guides will always give us the most simple answers. The correction to things, the answers to things are actually not that difficult. And the answer is always around love. Sometimes it's just knowing how do I do that. Okay, so here's the final words from my guides. Be kind. Find the best in others and yourself. Be peace within. That's what I got. Be kind. Find the best in others and yourself. Be peace within. And what they showed me was this spiral of energy. They showed me that when you are the center of that circle, when you are kind, when you are always looking for the best in yourself and in others, when you are at the place of peace, it creates this spiral of energy. So they showed me this spiral, like this spiraling out. It creates the conditions for peace outside of you. or what appears to be outside of you, even though we know there's no out there, but we still have that as a concept. And I heard this described by a lady in our group, Ioana. Her son, who is a crystal child, said to her, and this is what brought this up for me, because he said to her, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Ioana, she shared it on her page. He said, "Mummy, isn't it funny how inside is really infinite and everything on the outside is, what's the right word? Not finite, but is, I forget the word he used. He described the inside, everything on the inside is infinite and everything on the outside is so much less." Can't remember the exact word he used. But that's really the concept we're talking about here, is everything is actually within. Inside you, you are an infinite being. So whatever you do in your heart, when you raise your level of consciousness, you're actually moving into a frequency that is your heart and soul. And that is the place of infiniteness, connecting with you as an infinite being. And that's the most powerful place you can be. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is that second last. The second last thing I want to share is that there are some essential oils. This came to me after. There's some essential oils that you can use. And you might want to check if these are the correct ones for you. They may not be, but they gave me 4. And some of them I didn't expect, to be honest. All right, so they gave me 4 that are either singly or together, and you might want to just check for yourself as you go inside yourself. You'll either feel a resonance with each of these, or you won't feel a resonance. If you feel a resonance, that's a yes. If it's like matches, it's in alignment, that's a yes. If it sort of flies off, that's a no. Sarah says, "You love essential oils." Cool. All right, well, these are the ones that were suggested. Number 1 is frankincense. Number 2 is rose. Number 3 is citrus. And what they said was orange and lemon. And number 4, the other one within that was Melissa, which is, I think, a lemon type of thing. It's called Melissa. And number 4, this one surprised me, basil. Go figure. All right, so they're the 4 that I got. I don't know why. I'm not an essential oil person. You knew it before I said it, Nish? Yeah, cool. All right, so I don't know why these particular 4, I especially don't know why basil. Those of you who might be more in tune and know more about essential oils might be able to share why those ones came up. So it's frankincense, rose, citrus, meaning orange, lemon, and Melissa specifically. Go figure. And number 4 was basil. So you might want to tune in with that, get a sense of that for yourself. That was what I got. Now, the last thing we're going to do, which is a practice most of you will know. We're going to do this in order to raise the level of our vibration right now as a group and have that be, raise our level of consciousness for ourselves, but provide that for the world as well. So join with me. Just going to do it's not going to take very long, and you know what I'm going to do. It's called Ho'oponopono. So the ancient Hawaiian prayer. I want you to do that with me right now. And it's simply 4 lines. It's a poem. It's a prayer. And it's extremely powerful because what it does is connect you to all the higher consciousness, higher vibration emotions of love, gratitude, peace, forgiveness. So what they are is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. It doesn't matter how or who you think about as you do it. The idea is about as you think the words, you allow yourself to feel the emotion that comes with that. That's how you create and lift your vibration. All right, so join with me as we do that prayer now. So set your intention to connect with everybody in the circle. Connect with others in the circle, feel their energy. Connect with other people in the group who are here within the group, in what we would call the present, in the rest of the group, those from the past, and those who will be here in the future. And finally, connect with the rest of the world. Allow your consciousness to expand out into the universe. Think about someone you feel grateful for in your life. And just allow your heart energy to just, your whole body, just expand out into the universe with no boundaries. Take a breath in and just allow yourself to really notice that expansion. Let's start with I love you. Just think about those 3 words and allow yourself to feel what they really mean. If it helps, think about yourself or someone you love to help you feel those words. The second line is I'm sorry. Think about those 2 words. Well, it's really 3, but 2 words. The third line is please forgive me. And the last line is thank you. Beautiful. Hopefully now you feel a sense of peace within yourself. I certainly feel there's a kind of sense of sacred space here, which is because of what you're doing and what I'm doing. Just take a breath in and just notice how you feel. Thanks for the hearts, that's beautiful. Glad you're feeling good. Just realise how much difference you're making, everyone around you, and the contribution you're making to the world, the difference that you're making. So I'm just going to re-measure our level of consciousness right now. Anyone who's on this broadcast who will ever watch it, you are included. Anyone who watches the replay or anyone who will ever watch this in the future. There is no past, future. It is only now. If you're here, it's a now. All right. Isn't it beautiful, Bridie? I know. It's a beautiful, beautiful prayer. Extremely powerful. Thanks for the hearts. That's great. I know you're enjoying that. It's going to re-measure our level of consciousness as a group. Over 500, 500 to 510, 510 to 20, 520 to 30, 530 to 40, 530 to 35, 36, 37, 38, 538. Wow, how cool is that? We just went from 508 to 538. So whatever you've been thinking about, whatever, and the prayer that we just did raised our level of consciousness to 538. Now, that is huge, right? We've just gone up 30 points. Amazing, right? Amazing what you can do as a group. It's always much more powerful in a group. It's an exponential, and each of those points is not just one point. It's an exponential factor. So Julia can explain this better than me. She's a mathematician, but between 508 to 510 is not just 2 points. It's exponential from 508 to 9 and from 509 to 10. We've just gone from 508, what did I say, to 530, 538. Is that right? Yes, that's what it felt like. 36, 37, 38. Yeah, how amazing, right? That's amazing, amazing. Just think of how many people we're making a difference to right now because we're doing it together. So remember, whenever you do this, even though you feel like you're doing it on your own, you're never on your own. Any of us who are also operating at this level, we're all working together. It's like, you know, we're in the sea of the love above 500 and we're all contributing each time. It's getting bigger and it's growing. So every time you put in, it expands again. Right? So it's not just you working on your own trying to have an influence, but just think how many people you've already sent. We've already sent a broadcast of higher frequency to who might suddenly start to feel a little bit better today just because of what you've done. And this is especially relevant today. In Australia, it's Anzac Day. So this is a lot of people who will be feeling grief today, who will have had family members who have, you know, given their lives for Australia, who've died, and all those who've come back, injured, their lives changed forever, who've been willing to do that for us. So amazing on this day that we help to support so many people in Australia who and around the world who may be experiencing grief. Your heart chakra is warming and expansion. Yeah, thank you, Mish. That's beautiful. Yeah, amazing. It's amazing and so simple to do. So now you've got some things to do. You've got a beautiful prayer, so easy to do, and you've got lots of stuff that you can help to keep your vibration high and know that you really are making a difference. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was good. Not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I'll just have a think about that this afternoon. Oh yeah, I think we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do what to do when you're experiencing difficult people. So if you've got someone difficult in your life, or what to do, how to manage difficult people, what to do within yourself, how to manage that. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. If you are someone who hasn't met me before and you would like to know more about working with me, you can see the kind of level that I'm operating and the kind of things that I do. I offer coaching programs. I have one called Shine, which is a 90-day program. So if you're a woman who is looking for support to move forward in your life and you're looking for ways to clear sabotage and have me help you move along that path, then just get in touch with me. I only take a couple of people every month, so I've got a space in June. If you want to find out more, just PM me or, you know, put a message below and I'll get in touch with you, just so you know that there is more that you can do, and I am available if I feel like I'm the right person and you're needing some help. So I especially work with women who are feeling stuck and who are wanting to move forward in life and feeling that you're not really quite sure how to get where you want to go, and you're just feeling really scared about making a change. Maybe you're being called to do something. You know you have to do something different in your life. Maybe you're not sure what it is, and you're just feeling like, I need someone to help me get through the sabotage that I'm feeling, or the have a support person really work with me to get through this transition. So if that feels like me, give me a call or get in touch with me. Thanks, Bryony. Bryony's working with me. It's an amazing program. Thanks, Bryony. I appreciate that. You're amazing too. All the women I work with are amazing. So you know that, it's really important when you work with a coach that it be someone that you feel is on the same level as you in terms of your level of consciousness and where you want to go. You feel that it's the person who's working at the right level of values. That's really important to me. When I choose coaches, that's how I choose, because I've had ones that kind of helped me in business, but because they weren't aligned with me in terms of my spiritual side, I couldn't get the best from them. I didn't get the best out of it. It was tend to be more male as well, so it was good, but not as good as what I found now, who are also guys, but who are much more aligned spiritually. So, I found someone like that. If you're looking for someone like that, it might be me. Thanks, Jules. Thanks, Ali. Good to see you. All right. So that's all for today. Hope to see you tomorrow. And I love to get any more feedback. What did you think? any questions, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Okay. See you, everybody, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.